Hello, dear listener. Pete Daly Dixon here of the Six Star Business Podcast. Episode 18 is the one that we've got for you this week, and I'm joined by my erudite, eloquent, elegantly powerful, or is it powerfully elegant co-host, Evelyn Clark.
Hello, Pete. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for remembering. My two words are elegantly powerful. Yes, indeed.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, really good. I've been out for my run. You know, that's got to get done before we record these intros, get the blood flowing, get the energy up. And hey, I've got some news for you about this particular episode that we've got coming up. You remember it was Vincent and Terilee.
Yes.
And I can't remember if Vincent mentioned on the podcast about his upcoming pending fatherhood, but he's had a baby. Well,
Yay.
His partner's had a baby, Mia, about a week old now, and everyone's doing fine, mother, baby, whatever. So that's great news, and probably a good way to move into the episode. What was your recollections of it?
This is beautiful. We had Terilee Harrison from Singapore. Did I get that right?
She's in Singapore.
Yes. This global podcast of ours sometimes does stretch me a little bit, and she's fascinating. You know, born and bred from America, living in Singapore, running a business there, and gave us a really interesting insight into how she survived throughout the last 18 months, but also what it means to be six-star and how she delivers that every day. It's fascinating. And of course, Vincent from a totally different perspective, yet also someone who was born and bred in a different country and who lives now in Australia.
Yeah, so it was that cross-cultural aspect, both Singapore, France, so that came into the conversation, as did Vincent's previous past life as a professional athlete, professional sportsman, and how that kind of feeds into the whole thoughts behind being six-star. Great conversation, and one that I'm sure one of our listeners who wrote into us last week, he said, "Hi guys, I'm really enjoying each and every one of the episodes, and like you, I don't want them to end. I'm not sure if it's because I know you personally, but I feel it's more that I'm so aligned with everything that's being discussed." So it's great to get feedback like that. Keep that coming in to podcast at sixstar.business is the email to use to send to us. And if you're at all in residence, like that listener who wrote into us, and you'd like to spend more time with us and other podcast guests and other listeners of the Six Star Business Podcast, then you can join us. Where can they join us, Ev?
Our wonderful Six Star Business community. Woo! So apply.sixstarbusiness.community.
Yeah, and that's always the numeral 6 is what we're about. So with all that being said, we'll stop rambling. We'll let Terilee and Vincent, we'll let their genius shine in this podcast episode. Absolutely. And hope you enjoy. Bye.
Bye. So here we are in yet another fabulous and exciting episode of the Six Star Business Podcast. Here today we have Vincent Adrait and Terilee Harrison. So I'd like to welcome you here. Thank you for joining Pete and Mike.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you. So just to get us started, I'm going to ask you both to take it in turns, not speak like at once, and just introduce yourself. Tell us where you live, where you're from, and what you do, how you serve the world. And so, Terilee, would you like to go first?
I'd be happy to. It's great to be with you all today from Singapore. I'm Terilee Harrison, and I've been in the business networking industry for over 15 years. I say since I had brown hair, it's been a long time. And I serve the world by helping them network in the most lucrative way, teaching them what they need to know to be able to get the maximum referrals possible so that they can go back and make bigger impacts in the world. So that's what I'm doing here from Southeast Asia.
Oh, fabulous.
And where are you from originally? Because you don't sound like you're from Singapore, if you know what I mean.
I sound like I'm from Singapore, really? We've been in Singapore 4 years. We've spent many years in the States.
Okay. Fabulous. Thank you.
Excellent.
Vincent.
Good to have you with us.
Yeah, happy to be here. First, my name is Vincent. So I'm in Brisbane, Australia. And yes, I sound like an Australian, Pete, before you ask. I'm originally immigrating to Australia 7 years ago now. And I help business with productivity challenge. So help them to improve their productivity systems. And I have a consulting side of the business, and as well as some softwares and systems that are going to help them with.
And you're about to experience quite a significant life change, I believe.
Yeah, and that to be so, which is probably one of the biggest challenge at the moment, but really exciting for it. And the due date is in the 2nd of June. So basically from now on, it could be any time. So if I have to leave quickly.
Fantastic.
You'll be excused. Yeah.
That's great. So thank you for that. And at this point, what we like to do is just open it up with a question. It's pushing us off the top of the roller coaster. And I guess the first question I would like to ask you both, and please take whoever wants to jump in first, please do so, is what was it that attracted you to come here? So what was it that attracted you about the notion of a 6-star business?
Yeah, happy to start. I think I like the concept of pushing excellence a bit further, and we all know the 5-star rating and people asking for it and so on, and having that 6-star concept in terms of what is it that we can do more than people trying to do their best today, because there already some business with 5-star. So I'm just exciting to push excellence a bit further and trying to see what's behind that and explore different opportunities.
So for me,
thank you.
I love the concept when you first told me what it was. Truly, we all want to be offering the 5-star experience if we can. And we know how great it feels when we have that experience. So, oh my gosh, what if we could make it better? And I love the discussion because I'm not sure that this is something we think of as how normally on a normal day-to-day basis. Pete and Av do, right? It's part of their conversation that they have constantly, but the rest of us, we're not looking to push it. And so I wanted to see what I could learn, what examples I could impart even on all the business owners that I work with. I'm sure that would all be very interested in this conversation because we do want to offer the best to our people.
That's a good point, really. Actually, listening to the first episode of the podcast, I have been hooked, and I was like, I want to be part of that discussion in some way. So that's.
There's one of the guests we've had on recently. I'm not sure if the podcast episode has gone live. No, it hasn't. It's next Tuesday. It's going live. And she had a catch-up call with her last week, and she said the problem that she has with the podcast is that when she's listening to the other episodes is she wants to get involved. She's like shouting at the podcast app because she wants to join in the conversation. So that's great.
Yeah.
Vincent, you brought up this concept of excellence and pursuing excellence. And one of the things I know about you, which perhaps the others on the call and our listeners certainly don't, is that you were a professional athlete in a previous incarnation of your life. And that's all about excellence, and you don't win unless you are the best. What do you think that experience and part of your life has to say about a 6-star business, if any?
It's I always use that experience as an example because it's where I learn the most. I went to school, I'm an engineer and so on. I learned a lot from there, but that's all stuff that you can learn. What I learned through that past life, I would say, it's some value in terms of commitment, resilience, and excellence as well. Trying to push always to the next step. And when you reach to a certain level, well, that's never finished. You go to the next one, and you always look at the small thing. It's never like the obvious thing that will change everything at once. Like it's always a small thing that you put there and end up to get going a bit further, a bit faster, a bit stronger, and trying to capitalize on those points. I use a lot in business that reference where we all know the Pareto stuff 80-20, but what I always say to people is the 95-5% rule, where any project, they will be complete to 95% and it will take a certain amount of time. And the last 5%, which are probably the most important one, which will be for sustainability, for the top end results, is somehow forget or they stop too early. And we miss those 5% that will make the things even better and stronger, and that will help to grow as things going basically. And I think that's what I mean by excellence is working those 5%, because we can all do those 95%. The last 5%, it's taking extra step. It's taking other people, everything needs to be put in the balance to be able to achieve those last 5%, as I call them.
Terilee, have you experienced that in your business life where that 95 to 5% applied, where you saw people that would do the 95% but just not put in the work for that last 5%?
I have seen
does that resonate with
well, and when it happens, it's like, what in the world is happening? I think that anything we can do for us, I can't change some of the things I might have seen, but to offer everything we can for everyone, right? And go back and find people when things are happening, looking after them. I think it's absolutely key, is to look for each person. And have you ever had situations where things maybe didn't go right? I know we all have in business, right? Doing our best to tie those things up in a bow as properly as possible to make them right. I mean, that is so important. Sometimes you might be tempted, I don't know about us, but to sweep it under a rug and just, let's just, not that didn't happen, but okay, I think we took care of that as best we can. But what if we really sought out to really turn that person and, we're sorry that happened, and this is what we're going to do to honor you and make things better, and just really go out of our way to make it the best outcome possible considering what happened. I think it's huge.
When was the last time you would say that you had a 6-star experience from a company?
Oh, you're going to ask me?
Well, let's lower the bar a bit. 5-star.
It's challenging these days because I've been at home for a year, right? So it's like, what have I done?
It's true.
It's true. It's true. But when that things knock your socks off. I think it was the last time a long while ago when I stayed at a hotel here in Singapore, and just what they did to take care of us. It was huge. And like, we're ready to go back there again on a staycation next month, just because we're that pleased with the experience, right?
And what can you give us some specific examples in that? What kind of, as you think back to that experience, what was it that made you feel cared for and want to rebook?
The personal care of some of the people, some of the staff, even down to as you were checking in, the way that they took care of bringing extra unexpected things to the room that you might not have expected, and just really super delightful.
And what about yourself, Vincent? When was the last time you had a 5-star
Actually,
experience?
the last time I experienced that, or I feel that I experienced that, was internally to a business. And it was really cool to see where the management and leadership put in place some sort of objectives, and goal setting and so on for the business. But they tracked down those goals up to the last one of the lowest employee in the organization. And it was really nice to see, because everyone knew exactly what they have to do to participate to that end goal of the company that was whatever X thousand of dollars of revenue, maybe. But the sales department, the service department, the production department, every single of those departments knew what they had to do as a goal to help the company to achieve that. But each employee knew as well how to do it. And talking with those employees, the good thing they mentioned was, now that we know how we can participate to the bigger goal, we can even do more. Because now we know that if we do that extra step, that will help as well. Where if it's only a KPI and we don't know how it's linked with all the rest. So I find that experience really good. And talking with the employee, I didn't experience their service. I was working there as a consultant. But that was fresh to hear from them. That's amazing. We know what we do and we know what we do it for. And that's all makes sense. And we can do the extra step when we need to. So I find that it was a really good 6-star experience from inside. And like, I want to make that happen as well where am I?
That's brilliant. Question. So with that example, were they looking at the impact or the experience of the customers as well?
One of the goals was obviously there was a customer experience, and they always look how that's returned to them, because as a company, their main feedback is what the customer is doing, and so that was one of their goals. But I always see a business in three ways. There is what you put in, what you put out, and everything that you do in the middle. That's the property of your business. And they were checking in and out, but they were also making sure that what's happening in the middle, it's as well as in control than the rest. Because sometimes we focus only on the customer end, and we forgot a bit about the people that make the recipe. And forget about that. At some stage, a recipe that will go out will not be as good as it should or as it could.
No, that's so fascinating. I'm just thinking about the conversations that we've had on with people around, the measurement of, I guess, experiences, whether that's internal sort of staff measurement or if that's measurement of the customer. And I'm just wondering what to you what's the measurement, what's the metric for, say, a customer feeling like it's been 5-star? So Terilee, you talked about this experience that you've had. On what basis do you give it the 5-star? Is it how you felt? Is it the journey? Is it expectations? Like, if you were to really go down to that level of detail, what is it?
Some of it's based on experience and past expectation, right? What you're used to. And then when different things show up, it is the feeling, right? It's like, oh, this is special, right? I once had someone in my life that talked about delight, the word delight, and delighting our customers. And I think that's what it is like. And it's not just your average everyday thing. It's what could we do that would absolutely knock the socks off of our clients, whether it's no matter who your client is, and really dissecting what that is. And I love asking those questions. How could we serve you? What could we do for you? And it's very powerful information that we can then use.
I will concur with you on that, Terilee, but I think that's important to ask those questions where most of the time those ratings are just put a star, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it's just that, I will say that's purely what you feel, not too much in terms of proper analysis of what's the service. Because if someone say, I will deliver something not as I say at the beginning, and he's doing that, it's a 5-star. He did what he said he will do, but as a customer, we don't like that, so we will not experience that 5-star experience. So I would say that feeling and missing that ingredient ready for the company to get the right feedback in terms of how I can be better next time. You felt that was amazing with your stand-up, but maybe Evelyn was feeling that was that amazing for exactly the same experience because she was expecting something else. So how you get the feedback and how you manage, I would say that's managing expectation as well in terms of the full journey. You mentioned before how you check with the customer at the end, but it's also the customer at the beginning to make sure that there is that full journey. I don't know if that was something they use a lot in project management as a graphic, is that famous swing. So, and you can see the swing in different states. So either it's how the salesman sold the swing, how the project team understand the design of the swing, how it has been designed, how it has been documented, and et cetera, et cetera. And each time you see a different swing, and it starts by what the customer asks and what the customer wants. And it's also two different things. So it's also making sure, I think, in the experience that everyone is on the same page from start to end.
How difficult or easy is it then for a business to tap into each step of the journey? I mean, I'm just thinking about my experiences and the businesses I've worked with. I'm just struggling to think of the ones that actually do this, like you're saying, whereby they're checking in at each point of that journey to actually figure out what that experience is, what that delight factor is, how they can deliver at each point. Maybe my experiences haven't been, certainly I've had 5-star experiences, but, I'm wondering how difficult is it for a business to do that? Or is that what makes it 6-star because it's only a fraction of a very small percentage of businesses that do it?
It's a tough question, I think, because it will be similar than how you scale. Because sometimes especially smaller business, will be able and more flexible to deliver a tail or the results. As you grow, harder it is because obviously you cascade all the responsibilities, and there is different people involved and so on. And as I said before, everyone have a different standard. So that's just making it harder, I would say, to deliver a consistent result. But there is tools in terms of gates. So when you do something, you always have a checkpoint. if we take something basic as organizing holidays, you always have a checkpoint. Do I have my flight ticket? And I think it's also integrating that through a process of a company where they have those checkpoints that everything they do is consistent, whatever is consistency for that business. But it's finding those gates that make sure that they will have a predictable result each time and be able to replicate that multiple.
When you think about your own business, Terilee, what parts of it would you say are 6-star and what parts aren't that can be improved? And in your mind, what causes the difference?
Speaking of our global online referral organization right now, and for me, I've had feedback recently that no other organization that this particular person has been a part of, that they get the type of attention and care that they do with us, meaning like that we notice where they are, where they're speaking, we see the things, we promote them, we support them, and they've never felt that support before. Now, is that saying that 100% of our members feel that way? No, but when I heard that, I was like, that is a 6-star comment, right? When you compare. And something that I want to strive to do. So the question for that is, depending on if your business is service-based, is do you want to remain a smaller boutique company so you can provide that service, or is it going to be that you're going to expand your staff right, which is probably the case as you grow, right? The other things I'm just always asking myself, Pete and Av and Vincent, I'm just always asking myself, what can I do to level up? Like, it's as we onboard somebody new into the organization, is there anything that I've left out that could wow them as they're coming in, right? We try to have it be a special experience, but the question is, am I delighting them the whole way through? And I think that's what makes it 6 stars, when you feel you put everything into it to take those steps.
And what do you do to make sure that when you do land on a 6-star experience or a 6-star touch point in the journey, what do you have in place to make sure that is experienced by everybody?
Sometimes I have to say, sometimes it'll be like, it'll hit me that this is part of it and we have hit a sweet spot, and then it is, what can we do? Sometimes it isn't that I have the full plan and we launch the plan. Sometimes I have to say it's a little organic.
But in that, when you find those sort of organic things that kind of bubble up and you get that 6-star comment or comment about a 6-star experience, what do you do to make sure that is encapsulated and sort of rolled out, if you like, for future?
I'm with you. So like, let's say part of it is that we do interviews for everyone and get there, or people take turns being like member of the week and being featured in the newsletter, those types of things. It's in actually creating and keeping track that we have offered the same things to the same people, right? So it's going to be I don't know if you call that the auditing, but just who have we not featured yet? Who can we take care of? How can we help them?
That's great. And I'm hearing that what you're doing is embedding a new process effectively, like the gates, like Vincent was talking about. So you're checking the checklist. Have we done this? Yes. Have we done this? Yes. Can that become too wooden and impersonal? And if so, how do you then ensure that following a checklist still has the same level of personal love and care than the first time you did it randomly and got the amazing feedback?
I think some of it is those questions of, hey, we would love to schedule an interview with you and feature you. Some of it's how we present that to them, right? Some of it is sometimes I'll surprise them and we'll go ahead and send out and announce them as member of the week, and I'll take the picture of what's coming out and send it to them, and so it was like they don't know ahead of time, and they love that. They find that to be delightful. I've had someone that people connected with them on LinkedIn just because they saw that they were member of the week, and they're like, oh, this is cool, right? So I think it's in how we choose to present it to them. And again, that's that in the States, there's Nordstrom. Do you know that department store in the States, right? So there's Nordstrom and let's say Target, right? The question would be, and can we present some of these things, even if we're checking it off, can we present it in a Nordstrom way and not have to be like, oh, they're just checking me off the list, right? Yeah. I will even do something sometimes, everybody, and that's if I see somebody doing something special, I will share it on LinkedIn and I'll say, caught being awesome. And I'll share the latest of what they're up to. Now, that's very organic and very random because it's going to be the things I see, but I want to do more of that. And perhaps, Perhaps I need a spreadsheet too, just to make sure, that someone's not getting featured 10 times and other people not at all.
It seems to be an interesting combination. I don't know whether it's left brain or right brain, but a combination of being mindful of the situation, the circumstances, and the relationship that's occurring, but also being, you talked about having a spreadsheet there as well, and making sure that the right things are done at the right time and not done too many times. This kind of synthesis between the sort of organic mindfulness to generate that kind of 6-star feeling, combined with some way of systemizing and creating a process to make sure that it's not a one-off, because that's the challenge, isn't it? I mean, Vincent, you talked to it earlier about you're a small company, potentially very easy, because you probably, as an employer, all of your employees by name. You probably know their spouse's name and their children's names, and all your clients probably individually. But how do we scale a 6-star experience? I guess that's the question behind my thoughts.
I think that's probably one of the other things, because we came back. I like that you use the word care, Terry, there, because it's caring for the results of what I was saying to the customer, but caring for your staff as well. I listened to I forgot the number of the podcast, but where you have your story around your Mac ideas and will you like fries with that? And that's a process where customer asks A, salesman asks B, and so on. But you decide to take that process and do something with it that will deliver a better experience to the customer. And at the end of the day, it's how you capture those kind of behavior and transfer it to all the organization. And when I was saying including those goals, it doesn't need to be always in terms of number, but could be also share experience. So I saw that Evelyn sell fries differently than Pete when I'm going to Macas. Well, why that, and how you can help Pete to learn from Evelyn and vice versa. So it's also creating that, I think, to move from a 5-star to the 6-star, it's that small step where the organization care as much as maybe the owner initially on a smaller business. So if everyone is involved as they were owner of the business, that's for me a way to deliver consistent 6-star experience.
How do you do that without making them part owners? Or is that part of it? Is that, I know Dave Blanchard on a recent episode talked about the whole traditional model of business, that kind of hierarchical approach stemming back to the Industrial Revolution. Maybe that needs a shakeup, and we need to be thinking about different models of business where there is not only a sense of shared ownership, but maybe shared ownership to not force, that's not the right word, but give far more meaning to each individual employee of the importance of caring and sort of creating 6-star experiences. Any thoughts on that for anyone?
I agree with you on that bit, that that's a hard call, but I don't know you, but if I'm part of a team, and after it's maybe just me, but I will assume that a lot of people are like that. If you're part of a team and you know that if you don't do that part, you let them down and they will not be able to achieve what they have to achieve. And that will be, again, to a higher step in the company and a higher step and a higher step yet there. And at the end, no one will achieve their goal because you didn't put the effort that you need to. I think it's one of the challenge. But the other thing as well, you can do of your mission whatever you want. If I sell you are a salesman for a software company, you can decide that you will sell to the target. You can decide that you will kick the goals forever. You can decide to do whatever you want, and I would have to pay royalties because I always use the story, and it's coming from a friend. Is in France, when you go to your engineering school, and on the first year you go to an internship into production area, and second year to a leadership area, and the last year into the management area. And he went to that internship, and his job was to count the number of goods as per the standard. So he could stay there for 3 weeks and just taking the number and say, today we had 3 goods that were not as per the standards. But what he did is he started to do his own analysis, why it was happening, how it's happened, try to find any trends through it, and so on, as he had time to do that. When he left, the internship was 3 weeks later. That was project priority number 1 in the company. Because he came back to the owner with, that's what cost you, that's what you can save, and that's what you can do. And he said, okay, let's do that. And he started to do his own analysis, why it was happening, how it's happened, try to find any trends through it, and so on, as he had time to do that. When he left, the internship was 3 weeks later. That was project priority number 1 in the company, because he came back to the owner with, that's what cost you, That's the investment that you need to do. And I think that and that and that could solve it. We need to push in those directions because I didn't have time to go through all the analysis, and it became priority number one. And I think if you can develop those kind of behavior in your business, you will get to that six-star experience quite rapidly.
So I'm hearing that it's almost a continuous improvement, Vincent. It's analysis and looking at all the inputs and the outputs and what's going on in the middle in the engine room and seeing what's going on because it's always changing, right?
Exactly. And when you reach one top, you reach the top of the hill, you always someone else that will reach it just behind you. So that will become standard. And you need to push the extra step. And it's why those 5%, in fact, you never achieve them, but you always work on those ones. The 95% is the foundation of your house, but you will repaint it every 2 years. You will change the pictures in it. You will add some flowers there and there. So it's all that environment, I think, that you need to tweak all the time to be able to deliver that full experience.
The other thing I heard is the importance of having the friend you were talking about there has all the hallmarks of a 6-star employee. I mean, he was an intern, he wasn't even employed, but he was a 6-star employee. I mean, we're all 6-star as humans, we're 6 stars. But when you think about it as an employee, he was a 6-star employee. And how much of being a 6-star business is a function of the people in the business being 6-star employees? Terilee, have you ever had the good fortune of employing people?
I have, and I think it's when we have them, it's about making it that open conversation. It's part of the culture, and it's part of, as employees get together, just really reviewing, this is what we're doing well, and what else could we do, and we need to be open to all feedback, right? What I look at what I might have developed as an experience for our members, and I think we need to set ego aside, if you will. Have you ever run into someone that was like, oh, no, this is great, but yet you're getting feedback that it could be better. And it's about letting go and being open. So when we have that culture, when we create that culture, and when we make it all about that culture, Pete, I think that's even when the employees maybe they don't even come into it realizing that this is something they're passionate about. But if we make it a priority, I think that they can come right along and really provide a lot of oomph when it comes to creating the programs, maybe in ways that we couldn't even do ourselves.
100%.
Come back to the sense of shared ownership.
And at the end of the day, I think when you scale as well, you can't have, as much as a small business owner, you can have a view on everything and be aware of everything. As soon as you want to get bigger or scale your business, you can't anymore. Mm-hmm. Or if you do, in my opinion, you set yourself for failure. So you need to have that let go. But that let go is not just do whatever you want. You have a let go with a certain amount of control, but your control is basically equipping others to be able to deliver similar things that you do.
Do the employees, do you think, need to have a particular ingredient in order for them to come on board and be motivated and energized and then come on that care, factor ride? Because I don't know about you, but I've worked in many organizations as well as my own and employed people that were just there for the money. And over the years, I've felt that when we only think about the money, it's never going to be even a 5-star experience.
I agree with you there. It's really, 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 I think, hard to find the what I call the right people. Not there is right and wrong people, but for each of us, there is people that will match, there will be alignment, the culture will be aligned, and we'll be able to work together. And it's not because we can do it, that because I can work with Evelyn and Evelyn can work with Terilee, that Terilee and I could work together. But it's also finding those people and building your organization with it. And we mentioned earlier culture. I don't know if I tend to stay away from the word culture in the company because I don't like this word. But anyway, we talk about culture, and it's really important, I think, that to set up that right. And in terms of managing the expectation as well, as I mentioned it earlier, if you ask someone to come on board and you ask him and you set the expectation, it's what I give you and it's what I expect from you. And having also the other conversation is like, you coming to us, what do you expect from us? Because if you want to join the boat, it's a company. Yes, you're an employee, but you join the boat and you are part of the people that will make the boat move forward or the boat thinking. So what is it that you see in us that's for you? And I can tell you what I see in you that's for us. And that's a partnership that you do where at the moment in a lot of places as well, employment is just a contract. I want a salesman, you're a salesman, yes, you employ a salesman. But the salesman doesn't know why he has been chosen and why him and why not another. It's more in terms of the other side where I can tell you can tell me why we are good for you, and we can choose if you are good or not. But there is not that contract where everyone knows what you expect from the other part.
Mm. One of the things that just occurred to me while you were talking, Vincent, and I think it would be a shame not to take the opportunity to explore just a little bit before we think about wrapping up, is the cross-cultural aspect of Six Star. Because Terilee, you currently live in Singapore. You lived there for 4 years, but you come from America. Vincent, obviously, you were born and brought up in France and now live in Australia. What do either of you have to say and speak to this aspect of Six Star business from a cross-cultural perspective?
Oh my goodness. Okay. That is such a pertinent question. I think especially in light of how we've always been able to look at us today on this podcast, right? How we're all in different places. We come with our different backgrounds. And these days, having borderless boundary businesses, that it's not that we didn't have the opportunity years ago, but COVID has propelled us to all being able to be in these spaces more. So it's got to be part of the conversation. And it's got to be bringing in people from the different cultures and having a committee with them, having those conversations and learning what's pertinent to you, discussing what's pertinent to me. How could we elevate that experience? It has to be at the forefront, actually, Pete. And I'm glad you mentioned it, because our conversations, the things that delight me may not be the same things that delight other people. And we can't assume that everybody thinks like we do.
That's very true. I've got a question then, just to add to this topic. When you first moved to Singapore, Terilee, did you find any kind of differing values or expectations in terms of what you expected or were looking for in a service or a business or product, whatever, and what was delivered because you were suddenly in a different culture, in a different country?
I think that what it is, it might just be the expectations that you come with from your, yes, right? And that my expectations may be totally different. I do find, though, that just like in my past experiences, that when I go to do business with anyone, most of the time it's on referral. Hi, who do you know who does this? And getting those referrals from people, that's really pertinent for me. But I haven't found anything that's like absolutely crazy in differences. But I'm sure that no matter what, we show up from our different experiences, and for sure.
Just a reminder that we are not our customers, wherever they are. Well, what about you, Vincent? What's your observations of sort of the cross-cultural aspects of Six Star business?
It's again, I think it's really joined Terilee on the fact that's really a personal feeling again on what it is, and also what you are used to. Because if I take an example, food in France is something that's part of the culture. That's wherever you go, you have restaurants, and they are always in some place where it's hidden, it's not in the middle of traffic and so on. And you come to Australia or in Brisbane, it's really hard to find a restaurant for lunch that's not on the way or something that's a bit hidden where you have a bit of calm and so on. But the food is delicious as well. But the expectation that I have, because I always live with something, was to find those kind of restaurants where I'm struggling to do that. But in the meantime, in France, the hospitality, they are really trained, and it's really processed, and where here it's more friendly, where you have more sharing with the people that serve you food or cook your food and so on, which is another type of experience. It's what we were saying before. It's hard to judge. I think it's understanding who you deliver to, who is part of the process to do it, and what's coming before to be able to deliver that six-star experience. But it's hard if I'm outside of the market, it's hard to give me the right experience, because I will not be one of your customer or target person. Does that make sense? I'm not sure that makes really a lot of.
No, it does, and I mean, one of the things I heard in there is that we've got something. All cultures have something to learn from other cultures, and part of my background was I was brought up in Hong Kong. So I went to school, there's probably 15 different cultures and backgrounds, in the one classroom. And I think that having that acceptance and openness to other cultures, I think creates a better experience for everybody, because, there might be something that you learn that one culture does really well. That's not the norm in another culture, but actually when you implement it, it's like, wow, it creates the same kind of 6-star experience. And I think that's one of the secret superpowers of great business owners and entrepreneurs, is to see something working somewhere, whether it be in a particular industry or business or culture, and say, how does that apply? Not how does that, how can I apply that to my business? So that's great. Really, really good insights. Thank you. Av, I'm conscious of the time as always. Can you believe it's nearly 50 minutes we've been chatting? Another great conversation as always. Any kind of big takeaways for you from this chat?
I've loved all of it, actually, and it's gone so quickly, as they all do. And I've loved, even though Terilee and Vincent, you are both from very different cultures and places, yet what you brought today actually married up really nicely. Vincent, your business itself and how you look at process and improvements all the time and productivity, and yet you still bring in the human element and looking at that continuous improvement, which Terilee sounds like you actually practice, not from a technology sort of process or system that reminds you of what to do, but simply you do it because it comes from within you, which is just really, it's beautiful and a great example for all of us. I think there's lots of opportunity for people like us to work together to see how we can create more of those experiences using all of our skills. Like Pete was saying, depending on what culture or industry we're from. And that's the point of us bringing people together here on this podcast, to learn more from you and create more magical ideas and moments in delivering a 6-star experience. So thank you both for joining in. I just want to open up. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this fabulous, magical conversation?
For me, will be just keep going, because you changed my travel routine. Now I'm enjoying being the car between customers, because I can listen a bit more to what's happening there, and it's really cool to have all those different people from different places, different background, different industry, talking about one topic, which is the 6-star business. And I find that really cool, and I learn a lot, and I try to use a fair bit of what's say there to implement and getting better as well. So just keep going on what you do. It's just amazing, and thanks for having me with you.
I want to thank you for the invitation to be here, and I want to commend you for keeping this conversation top of mind in business. This is going to be what sets us apart, what separates us from our competition, and what's going to attract people to us. So thank you for doing that. And I think, Vincent, I'm going to ask you if you agree with me. I've been on numerous podcasts, and even your onboarding experience, everything you do has been a 6-star experience. It's been different from just even that onboarding call to all the emails and communication I received. So you're walking your walk and talking your talk, guys. And I just want to for that.
Yeah, no, that's really, I agree with you 100%, Terilee. 100%. 110%.
We couldn't do a podcast episode without great podcast guests. So thank you for your contribution to the ongoing conversation around 6-star business. And that's, I guess, the end of the show, as they say. So
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Thanks again, and see you both soon.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
That was another stimulating, thought-provoking episode of the 6-Star Business Podcast.
Thank you so much for getting this far. Please go ahead, like, subscribe, and give us a comment, review.
A rating. If there was a 6-star, we'd love you to give us a 6-star rating, but so just go as high as you can.
And if you want to continue the conversation with us and all the cool people who've joined us from the podcast, head on over to apply.6starbusiness.community.
See you there.